Gonna show the panels and start adding the center details using the circle primitive tool. Gonna call this layer details and put it above the gears. Gonna zoom in for this. Set it to black afterwards. To do a perfect circle, you would control drag when you initially make the object. Copy and paste it. Control drag to adjust the size later on once you have your perfect circle. You could always zoom in and adjust the size however you need, or the position, by pressing plus or minus, or using the zoom tool here as well. Might be even an option here in view to zoom in and out. Again, you can see the short keys here, which is plus and minus. One interesting thing about circles is that you have the option to create a closed circle, a pie chart by dragging outside, or by dragging inside you just do a cross section of it. I'm going to go ahead and keep this as a closed circle. Going through the layers context menu, I'm going to select the spiral, and I'm actually going to lock the gears layer because I'm finished with that one for now, and just work with our last primitive object using the spiral. I've already made some adjustments here, but how you would do that is, you can see the default, where you can control the number of quarter turns, adjust this however you need. The divergence is the distance between each turn, and the inner radius will control where you begin inside the circle. So you could start from the outside and work your way in. What I'm going to do now is to create a pattern along this path to create this alternate width appearance. For that, I'm going to reset my polygon tool, set it down to 3 points, add a little bit of a rounded corner, and I want to change this object into a path and copy it. At this point, I would select my spiral and open up the options here and path effects menu here, just in case. And I want to add a path effect, pressing the plus, adding a pattern along the path, and because I already copied and pasted, I now have a path for this effect. I no longer need this since it's applied directly to the object. Then go ahead, give it a lighter background. At this point, I didn't have the desired effect I wanted, so I'm going to go copy and paste the previous object I created. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock that layer and select my object. You can see I did have all this already set up for it. And I'm going to put that on my spiral layer and show you how this appears as it moves along the path. Now, this would be a single representation of the object along the path. That's not the most interesting, but you can repeat it and stretch it all the way across, which means it'll go all the way across the path. You can just repeat it without stretching it, or which is what most tools will use when you're using the triangle in option, where it just stretches the single object all the way along the path. This is probably your best option. It has the cleanest appearance, unless you have a very small, simple, primitive object. I could probably show you this as well. Again, turning the object into a path, copying it, pasting it, and here I have adjusted it. You can see here, with simpler, smaller objects, you can repeat it and stretch it just at the starting point and stretched along the path. And drag this behind into its proper position. You can use the arrow keys up, down, left, right to adjust it. And there I have all my basic spiral, panel, and gear objects using the rectangle, circle, and spiral tool, and some polygons for the gears. And what I want to do is use the polygon tool to create a special effect. And to make a special pattern, you would just drag these up and down. Can play around with this. Can always randomize these a little bit as well. It's just a little neat special effect you can have when playing around with polygons. Put that to a nice gold. And there I have a nice little spiral pattern underneath one of my gears. For the final product, I've already prepared the results with a little bit of fine-tuning using the polygon pattern. I'll zoom in here. I'll just show you the settings for it for now. So it was 13 corners, 0.9, and 1.210 just to get this sort of effect. And that is how you would work with simple primitive objects and layers in Inkscape.